Hi, here I talk about brands that people follow. When we talk about brands, we don't mean just the logo. I even have a term for it, logotyping, which is when a client approaches for the development of visual identity, but, being far removed from this field, thinks they probably just need a logo. I have to explain that no, a logo won't help you visually stand out from competitors. I completely understand that entrepreneurs are buried in their operations. They have a million tasks, and they don't have time to figure out what branding is or what they actually need. They just need to turn to people like me. I was inspired to make this video by what I saw in the stories of Mishka Travel, a travel blogger from Perm. He started talking about how he decided to work on his rebranding, and I became interested. But it soon turned out that by rebranding, he meant updating the logo. Here he shows that one group of guys made him a logo, and another group did too. He doesn't know which one is better, so he asks his audience. Someone more knowledgeable advised him that he also needed to sort out the brand color and that there was no need to invent anything new. He is already an established brand with a color palette he uses. So he can base it on that. However, the way the question was initially framed was incorrect. So, he is trying to develop a certain logo that might later be used in merchandising. This is an incorrect formulation because, firstly, not all mediums are branded with a logo. In general, its purpose has become very utilitarian, and the logo has become a less noticeable attribute of the brand's visual identity. That is, we see the logo in the corner of the website, rarely on avatars. And by the way, that's a mistake. Small brands that put their logo as their avatar get lost in the feed because it's already proven, not by me. People respond more to people. When we open our Instagram and see avatars of real people, we are interested in following their lives. We are naturally wired to respond to another person's gaze. It was important for a caveman to see what was happening in another's eyes, whether there was any danger, to see the gaze of a predatory animal, and so on. And we continue to respond to real people. When we see avatars, we tend to skip over them a bit. We intuitively understand that there's some commercial story behind it, that something is going to be sold to us. We are interested in real people. So if you are a small brand, especially a personal brand, putting a logo as your avatar is not the best idea. It feels like the travel blogger was trying to do branding for the sake of branding, but everything has a specific purpose. First, you need to think about where you are going to use your visual identity. To plan all the merchandising, what exactly it will be, and in what format it will be. And then pass the specific materials to the people who will handle the visuals, so they can evaluate them and understand how much they can expand. If it's something tiny, like a pen, what can you do with it? Well, maybe you can think about the shape and color at most. If you have clothing, it's a completely different story. And branding it doesn't mean just placing a logo on it. You can make everything much more interesting and at the same time, create brand recognition. The same phrases, slogan, and travel with a clear head. You could have developed your typography around this slogan, created your own custom font, or at least some kind of unique writing style. But they don't do it separately, not differently. People need to be engaged. Some work on merch, others work on light graphics, another on the logo, imagery, and all of it together. So, there is a team that sees how the brand will communicate, where people will interact with the brand in various ways, how much they can expand in terms of visuals, and they already think further about what can be done. When someone suggests evaluating someone's logo, voting, especially, a public vote. We are very popular because every armchair critic thinks they know best what a brand's logo should look like. I don't participate in that. I really like the new trends, which are actually well-forgotten old ones, where logos are now becoming more typographic. Then they try to cram all the meanings in and actually create some complex graphics. A logo has its place, it is not. The corporate identity. This is a small part of the brand's visual identity, and if you look at all premium brands, all modern brands, they are mostly devoid of any complex details in their logos. They are mainly typographic, but that doesn't mean everyone necessarily needs to create a typographic logo. Everything can be made interesting, tasteful, and modern on an individual basis. Some kind of logo sign. But you shouldn't think that this is the only option or that you need to worry about it at all. And it's wrong when people think they can just order a logo separately, and then, when they have to deal with the website, they need to somehow. When it comes to designing a website or other materials, they don't understand what to do next. They only have a logo. They order a brand identity separately, and yes, they are shown some brand colors, fonts, and techniques, but all of this should be integrated. We think through the entire brand image from the start. We consider the visual aesthetics and brand identity, and in the process, the logo is born. We don't start by drawing something as a good luck charm, and then dance around it. It's a bit the other way around. It's generally believed that everyone is a specialist in politics, medicine, and advertising, but not in branding. Guys, let's leave what we don't understand to the people who do this professionally. Then we will have less visual noise and clutter around us, which we point out, but end up doing the same ourselves. In terms of logo design, I really like the example of Ilya Varlamov, where they designed what a European city would look like if Russian advertisers were let loose there. What will happen to signs? What will happen to outdoor advertising and the overall visual of a neighborhood? And that's true. And partly because we treat branding too formally, focusing on some complex, external story instead of thinking it through from the inside. Yes, branding is not about visuals. Visual identity, yes, it's important, but branding doesn't start with it, nor does it end with it, and you won't see it in just a cool logo or a great corporate style if there's nothing behind it, if there's no meaning, no character. There is no strategy, no properly established communication. I think I've just come up with ideas for at least 5 to 10 more videos. Let's wrap it up here. If you found it interesting and useful, you know what to do. Thank you all. Goodbye.